The Maintenance Act, Part 2, Obligation of Spouses during Marriage or Cohabitation. Section 4, Obligation of Spouses to maintain each other. Each spouse has an obligation so far as he or she is capable to maintain the other spouse to the extent that such maintenance is necessary to meet the reasonable needs of the other spouse, where the other spouse cannot practicably meet the whole or part of those needs, having regards to A, the circumstances specified in section 14 subsection 4, and B, any other circumstances which, in the opinion of the court, the justice of the case requires to be taken into account. So here, this is not after separation or divorce, it's during marriage. A husband can be obligated by the court to maintain his wife, and the wife can be obligated by the court to maintain her husband under these circumstances. So here it's clear. Section 4 is clear on that. I don't think you really need the expertise of an attorney to explain this part. It's quite clear. Section 5, Maintenance Order re spouse. Subsection 1. A maintenance order for the support of a spouse shall A, contain such provisions as will ensure that the economic burden of child support is shared equally or equitably. It's shared equitably. So here, that the economic burden of child support is shared equitably. So even though, say for example, this seems to be saying that a husband being ordered to maintain his wife, the wife can still be obligated to support her child, while the husband is also obligated to support his child. Because here it says the burden of child support is shared equitably. Okay. B, make such provision as the court considers fair with a view to assisting the spouse to become able to contribute to that spouse's own support. So make such provision as the court considers fair. So I'm thinking here that the spouse being supported probably would only be supported up to a certain time, and given a time to find a job or be ordered to find a job or operate some business activities up to a certain time in the future, so that that spouse can support him or her own self. Probably that is the case, right? Assisting the spouse to become able to contribute to that spouse's own support. All right. Subsection 2. In determining the amount and duration of support to be given to a spouse under a maintenance order, The court shall have regard to the following matters in addition to the matters specified in section 14, subsection 4. Okay, so the judge now is considering how much maintenance, how much money you're being ordered to give your spouse and for how long. Alright. A. These are the consideration. The length of time of the marriage or cohabitation. I guess the shorter the marriage, the less time. B. The spouse's contribution to the relationship and the economic consequences of the relationship for the spouse. So, if that spouse being supported is doing a lot of housework and taking care of the children, then more money, probably more money would be allocated to that spouse. The economic consequences of the relationship. It could be that if that spouse was not married to you, if your spouse was not married to you, then they could have found a better job than they have now and would have earned a lot more money. So the judge would order you to give more money to that spouse as support. Seems to be what that is saying. Alright, C. The effect of the responsibilities assumed during the marriage or cohabitation on the spouse's earning capacity. Alright, somewhat similar to B. D. The spouse's needs having regard to the accustomed standard of living during the marriage or cohabitation. To the accustomed standard of living. So it seems as if they're saying that if your spouse got married to you and you provided a high standard of living, then the judge would order you to give more money to try to maintain that high standard of living and not to drop to a lower standard of living. Alright. E. Whether the spouse. So remember, these are conditions that the judge considers, and in terms of how much money you should give to your spouse and for how long. Whether the spouse has undertaken the care of a child of 18 years of age or over, who is unable by reason of illness, disability, or other cause to care for himself. So if both of you has a child who has reached adult age but is unable to take care of him or herself, and your spouse is taking care of that child, then the judge would order that you pay more money to that spouse as support. F. Any housekeeping, child care, or other domestic service performed by the spouse for the family, as if the spouse were devoting the time spent in performing that service in remunerative employment and were contributing to the earnings, were contributing the earnings to the family support. Okay, so the judge considers household chores, the housework of the spouse. So the more money, the more housework, the more child care and other domestic service that your spouse is performing, the more money the judge will order that you pay in support to your spouse. Alright, G. The effect of the spouse's child care responsibilities on the spouse's earnings and career development. So if the child care. If your spouse is doing so much child care work that it prevents them from working hard enough to make more money and get more promotion, then you have to pay more money to that spouse. H. The terms of any order made or proposed to be made under the Property Rights of Spouses Act in relation to the property of the parties, right? So remember, the Rights of Spouses Act is closely related to the Maintenance Act. So they will consider any order that already was made under the Property Rights of Spouses Act. I. The eligibility of either spouse for a pension, allowance, or benefit under any rule, enactment, superannuation fund, or scheme, and the rate of that pension, allowance, or benefit. Okay, so they consider any other allowance or pension to the spouse. All right, we'll look at part 3 in our next video.